Hey everyone, today we're going to go over 6 surprising signs that you're embodying your most authentic self. So let's get right into it. Sign number 1, you stop seeing the good in everyone. The first sign that you're embodying your most authentic self is that you start seeing people for who they are being, not just their potential. You're no longer ignoring the gap between someone's words and their actions. When we're out of alignment with our authentic self, we often have a tendency to make endless excuses for others. We want to believe the best in people. Oh, we know them. They have good intentions, even when their behavior is clearly out of integrity with their stated values and commitments. And without integrity, nothing works. But as you step more into your power, that filter actually really does start to drop away. Now you're able to assess situations and relationships with much more clarity. You notice the inconsistencies, the broken promises, and the toxic patterns. And rather than trying to fix or enable these behaviors, you make empowered choices about whether or not you want to keep that person in your life and to what degree. This shift can be uncomfortable at first, especially if we've always been the nice one, the one who puts up with a lot. But it's a sign that you're no longer willing to compromise your own standards and boundaries. You are choosing quality over quantity when it comes to the company that you keep. Sign number 2, you are no longer toxically empathic. Another marker of you embodying authenticity is that you moved out of a state of toxic empathy. In the past, you may have been the person who always took on other people's problems as your own, to the point where maybe you've experienced burnout or resentment. But as you reclaim your authentic self, you're able to hold space for others without losing yourself in the process. You can listen, validate, and support without absorbing their emotions or trying to fix everything. There is a sense of healthy detachment and emotional boundaries. Now, this doesn't mean that you've lost your capacity for empathy. In fact, it's actually quite the opposite. You've simply upgraded your empathic abilities from an automatic trauma response from something that was unresolved from the past to a more conscious, balanced state. You can see things clearly, feel for their struggles, but you aren't drowning in them yourself or allowing them to drown in them. You have more capacity to empower other people now. The old patterns of codependency and people pleasing start to fall away, and you're no longer trying to be a savior or an emotional dumpster for everyone around you. Instead, you're claiming your own needs, your own boundaries, all while still showing up with compassion. Sign number 3, you are no longer nice. As you continue to peel back the layers and embody your authentic self, another shift happens. You start to let go of being nice, and you really actually start to embrace your most loving you. In our society, we are often conditioned to value niceness over authenticity. We're taught to just smile, nod, and go along with things. Just be nice, be good, even when it goes against our values or makes us deeply uncomfortable. But as you grow, you realize that true love actually requires something more. Love, in its highest form, is not just about being agreeable or likable. It's about holding others accountable, challenging them to grow, for them to fulfill their commitments and take aligned action on their values, really calling them forth to their highest potential. It's about setting clear boundaries and having the courage to have difficult conversations. So you may find that you're no longer people pleasing. You're no longer the nice person. Instead, you're becoming more direct, more discerning, and more willing to have those tough conversations. You are not enabling poor behavior or seeing others as powerless victims, because they're not. You're seeing them through the lens of their highest possibilities, and you're willing to push them toward that, even if it's uncomfortable in the moment. Sign number 4, you have fewer friends. Another hallmark for stepping into your authentic self is that your circle of friends and acquaintances starts to shrink. You are no longer trying to be liked by everyone or surrounding yourself with a large number of people just to feel whole, complete, loved, or worthy. Instead, you are already whole, complete, loved, and worthy. You're focusing on quality now over quantity. You're being incredibly discerning about who you allow around you. The old pattern of people pleasing and approval seeking starts to fall away, and you'll realize that not everyone is meant to be your friend, nor do you even want them to be. You become much more selective about the energy that you allow in. You're not willing to tolerate drama, toxicity, or people who aren't aligned with your values and priorities, let alone their own values and priorities. And you have no problem letting go of relationships that no longer serve you, even if it's uncomfortable in the moment. This can be a difficult transition, as we're so conditioned to believe that the more friends and social connections equate to more happiness and worthiness. But as you continue to strengthen your authentic self, you'll find the quality of your relationships matters far more than the quantity because of the energy it robs you of. Sign number 5, you feel more anger. Another surprising sign of you embodying your most authentic self is that you start to feel more anger. Your tolerance for BS, hypocrisy, and things that you used to let slide goes out the window. The things that you once put up with when you were in survival mode or trying to keep the peace no longer fly. During this period of transformation, you may find yourself feeling a sense of disgust or rage about things that you once tolerated. You may look back on the past situations and wonder, how did I ever allow that to happen? Your barometer for what's acceptable has been calibrated at a much higher standard. Now you're no longer willing to compromise your values or your boundaries, even if it means having difficult conversations or walking away from toxic dynamics. Now, the anger that you feel is actually a really good sign. It's a sign of great progress because it means that you're no longer willing to betray yourself. This increased anger and intolerance for inauthenticity can be unsettling at first, but it's actually a necessary part of the process. It's your inner fire, your passion, your refusal to settle for less than you deserve. And as you learn to channel that energy in a healthy, more balanced way, it will become one of your greatest assets. Sign number 6. You no longer need to justify yourself. You no longer feel the need to justify, convince, defend, or protect yourself from anybody's opinions or judgments. You have reached a place of such deep self-acceptance that you are content even if others think the worst of you. You know that their views and perceptions say far more about them than they do you. And you are no longer going to give those judgments real estate in your head, living rent-free. Fear and anxiety are no longer running the show. Your power is. You have reclaimed your agency, your boundaries, and your willingness to be seen. And you are able to move through this world with a sense of grounded confidence, knowing your worth and your truth are not dependent on anyone else's approval. This is the essence of becoming unmesswithable, where you're operating from a place of radical authenticity, self-trust, and that inner strength and resilience. Now, I know this is not an easy journey, but the rewards are immense. So embrace these signs of transformation and keep stepping into embodying your most genuine, unapologetic self. So in summary, the 6 surprising signs that you're embodying your most authentic self are: you stop seeing the good in everyone. You are no longer toxically empathic. You are no longer nice. You have fewer friends. You feel more anger, and you no longer need to justify yourself. These shifts can really be uncomfortable, I know, but they are all markers of your growth, your self-trust, and commitment to living a life on your own terms, your most sovereign life. So embrace these signs, lean into that discomfort, and watch as you become more and more unmesswithable. Your most fulfilled life is waiting. You've got this.